Every single one of us were given a talent, a gift, something that you came into this world with higher senses than other people. Now, does that mean only talented artists can be successful? Well, let's talk about that today. My name is Sanjana, and well, this is the Alchemy Podcast, all about mindset and I guess basically surviving as an artist. Did y'all know the reason Art Terraces is called Art Terraces is because basically this podcast is art knowledge, not the skills part, but mindset. And so I wanted to create a garden, a terrace for y'all to walk in and be knowledged up like you would a suit. So do you believe you were born with talent to be an artist? I certainly know I was born with a higher level of creativity than most and definitely more imaginative. When I was young, I liked to play around with paints, and I guess like we all did, liked to draw. But we all like to draw. Does that mean we were talented artists at that age? Well, that's what we're getting into. But as I said, I was, and I still am, have a higher level of creativity and imagination than what I guess most people would have. I needed to put that into something physical, and that is where my talent fell short, because I'm not skilled with the anatomy ins and outs of art. I can't draw a face in the manner I see it in my head without knowing anatomy. And I'm sure it is the same with you. Some things just seem much more easier because you have a natural or a talent for it, and some things harder. But now, if you only relied on your raw and amazing talent, you would fall very short and wouldn't grow. Growth is a really big part of becoming a successful artist. I speak about it in almost every single episode of this podcast. You need to be able to level up your skills in order to grow as an artist. It's really amazing when you see near the end of the year or when a trend goes around where an artist shows their progress, and that growth is what you really need to become successful. But now, if you only relied on your raw and amazing talent, you would fall very short and you wouldn't grow, because those who work hard and learn skills surpass the talented. Remember that hard work can beat talent. But let's say you were like Asta from Black Clover, born without powers in a world full of magic. That is Asta. Black Clover, for a little bit of insight, is an anime, and it is a very long anime, but really worth it. And it's about this boy named Asta. He wanted to become a Wizardkin, but you need to be the most powerful to become Wizardkin, and you need to be powerful because you need to protect a lot of people. And a lot of people from Asta's small village laughed at him because, well, he didn't have a drop of magic in him, so how on earth would he ever become something as great as a Wizard King? So instead of letting the laughter get to him, he trained his physical body up and tried to learn as much as he could to become stronger. So with just that brute force and zero talent, he leveled up enough to take on crazy villains that he could never have taken on with zero power, or not even without the body he had at that point. So he had no talent except the talent of believing in himself and believing he could make it without talent. Is that really a talent though, or is it just mindset? Well, whatever it was his upbeat Asta-ness that made him that way. Now, had Asta given up, he would never have found the deep connection he had inside of him to something bigger. And I'm not going to be the spoiler, but I want to give you a message. You have a deep talent inside of you, and developing your surface level skills can open you up to finding what that is, to leading you to your true nature, your true calling. I think that's what makes successful artists really successful. They already know what they like. They like art, they like to draw. That's not what they're meant to do. They're meant to do something more with that skill. They learn skills, and deep inside they have a blazing, fiery passion that is their true talent, and with their skills they can portray this. To be quite honest, this entire episode is really inspired by what one of my favorite YouTubers, Hindz, had said about growth and talent and how we look at it. So basically he started talking about Will Smith and how when he was acting, because he read straight out of the book that Will Smith has.
Now Will Will was talking about when he was on the show, he really wanted to impress James Avery. Now, James Avery was Uncle Phil. For anybody that's watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, y'all know Uncle Phil. He was an amazing actor. So I'm going to read this part for you right here. There were very few people in my life I wanted to impress more than James Avery. That's Uncle Phil. James had been acting longer than I had been alive, and he was my paragon, the pinnacle of dramatic presence. I desperately wanted him to think I was a good actor, but nothing I did impressed James Avery. This is Will speaking. He played my father figure on the show and slowly assumed the role in real life. He was demanding and always pushing me to master my instrument. As an actor, he said, you can do jokes with your eyes closed. You have that naturally, and it's beautiful to watch. He's talking about how, Will has a natural charisma to him. He's like, you can act, you can make jokes. That comes natural. But you have a deeper talent in there, and so do you. Deep within you, there is a talent, even beyond your surface level skills. And you're never going to find it if you don't reach for it. There's a difference between talent and skill. Talent comes from God. You're born with it. Skill comes from sweat and practice and commitment. Don't just skate through this opportunity. Hone your craft.
What he told him was to go and hone on and push those skills further, so that talent turns into something bigger than just a talent, but a skill that has won him Grammys and great awards. And yes, you know who Will Smith is. That is how amazing he is and successful. Yeah, he's not maybe a artist who paints, but he's an artist of music and acting, so he's still an artist. But if I had to take this and relate it to my own personal journey, as soon as I started learning more and more art skills, leveling up each and every day, you best believe I could become more creative and imaginative and use my talent to bring forth the compositions I saw in my mind. And if I hadn't developed my skills, and if I don't keep developing them, I'll never push this talent. I'll never portray the bigger pictures that I envision within me. And the same goes for you. You gotta learn certain skills, no matter whether you find it boring or not. As Angel Ganna says, know the rules before you can break them. These rules are basically art styles, books, movies, and animation, because the skills set becomes a culmination of all of that. You don't start all of a sudden and just have an art style. No, you first learn anatomy and all of those things. And when you learn anatomy, it's actually leading you down the path of being able to bend the rules of anatomy. In real life, eyes aren't as big as they are in anime, and yet it works so well because they know how to bend the anatomy for it to still look good. And it's the same with art books and comics. That style is so pushed from reality, yet works, and you still understand this is a person that I'm looking at. Same with animation. You still understand that these are people I'm looking at because you know how to push those styles. So that's literally it. Maybe you were meant to become the greatest animator of all time, but you can't do that without the skills. See, if you truly love and respect your dreams, whatever they may be, and if you truly love and respect yourself, you should take that talent and turn it into something bigger by working on your craft and honing in on your skills. One of the examples I read from Mastery by Robert Greene is about Mozart. And yes, guys, we will cover Mastery by Robert Greene in another podcast episode is coming. As a young boy, Mozart, his father noticed he had a really keen ear towards music, a general talent that they honed in on his skill. So they started training him up, making him the pianist we know. And what they decided to take him, and I'm not sure if it was his sister, I think it was, and they traveled all of Europe, going from place to place and performing for large crowds and learning from the literal masters of piano at that time. With that, it was in that very moment that when he went back to his hometown, he had a job at the king's palace, but he found the job boring because when he went there, he was literally performing other people's music. He was doing whatever the king wanted, and nothing that interested him at all. He lost his passion, and you can lose your passion from such a thing. So what really happened after all of that is he decided to go against his father's wishes and against the king's wishes and leave the parliamentary palace, whatever it was called back then. He left and he really got into composing and writing his own music. And during this time, he created the greatest pieces of all time. And none of that would have happened had he not learned the skills, had he not mastered the piano. There are so many examples like him where what you were meant to do is related to the talents you were given, but you're also interested in other things. Ross Strose, for example, he's charismatic, he's bright, and he's vibrant. Is that really a talent? But I think it is, because not a lot of people can openly be like that, like him. And so that is what makes him one of the top 10 digital artists on YouTube. I say top 10 because there's 10 of the biggest artists on YouTube with the biggest subscribing amount, and he is in that top amount. When you get into his videos, he just brings it up really excited, and he also has these crazy edits which add to his bright and vibrant personality. It just feels like you're watching these short snippets of a video game come to life in art form, because that's what he do. Just because you have talent, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't mean that it will be the thing that will give you the success you desire. Instead, developing and building your skills will help you reach your talent, because talent is basically a little treasure chest box inside of you, ready to go out into the world and bloom bright. But in order to get to the treasure chest, you have to go through the adventure and look for a map and follow the path on the map. And if you don't follow that path in the map of your heart to your talent, you will never reach that little treasure chest filled with your talent, bigger and brighter than ever. So you need to go through this journey of getting skills to do what you were meant to do. So no, the reason talented artists are successful is because they hone in and develop their skills. So once they have the talents, they really come to surface. As I mentioned before, Angel Ganov always says, how do you develop an art style if you don't even know how to bend laws? Which is basically it. The reason certain art styles are so big and so great, like Sam Dazart's viral art style, Ross Straw's viral art style, it's really because of being able to bend laws and knowing these things. They are artists, but the thing that is really art isn't the fact that they can give you a photorealistic copy of something, but the fact that they can bend and create something bigger and brighter. Anyways, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it opened up your mind to some things that doesn't seem like learning anatomy is fun at times, and I guess I struggle with that too. I think the real frustration with anatomy is the fact that you really just get this feeling that you're learning something and you can't replicate it the way it needs to be replicated, and that frustration just pushes you into a point where nah, I'm not gonna learn anatomy, I'll just draw manga, or I'll just draw a bunch of furry animals all the time. I'm good at that. But you need to push yourself, because you'll never really grow. Growth is what you want to become successful. I hope you have opened your mind up in this podcast. But of course, before I go, we have to do our segment of Let's Catch Up, Friend. And today I saw something about whether pineapple pizza is a crime or not. That was the question. And where I saw this, 48% of the people said, nah, it ain't a crime, and 52 said, yeah, it's a crime. And for me, the answer is obviously no. Pizza on pineapple is delicious. Pizza on pineapple? Well, that would be very interesting. And I think you pineapple pizza haters will really hate the fact that your pizza would be on a pineapple. But what I was trying to say is that pineapple on pizza is delicious. Come for me in the comments if you disagree. I really don't know why we gotta fight with the pineapple haters. People will hate everything under the sun, including maybe even the sun. Anyways, I'll see you in another episode. Don't forget to like this episode and share with your art friends who don't want to learn anatomy, and maybe like pineapple on pizza. Also, don't forget to subscribe on Anchor, YouTube, and Spotify. You follow on Spotify and Anchor, I think it is. Yeah, but don't forget to do all those things. And I really need to know, are you a pineapple hater?